that has been played pretty much to perfection. Well, actually, now that we go back to looking at it, he's maybe overrun it a bit, but this shouldn't really be a problem.
And you'll see the players after they settle in, they'll take a little distance on a lot of these shots rather than trying to get a little closer to it and then overrun the cue ball. Fortuński, much different than, oh, he's banking this, looks like now. Wow. Hard to bank that softly and expect to be able to judge it well.
Yeah, it looked to have played it ideally, but as you say, Jeremy, this cloth playing very fast, so it just refused to stop in time, and what looked to be a certain 1-0 lead to Fortuński could now very well go the other way. Thorpe has this to take the opener. Very eventful route, but Billy Thorpe has got there in the end. He leads Mieszko Fortuński 1-0 on this opening day of the World Championship here in Milton Keynes.
You want to get on the other side of the 4 to play the 4 in the same pocket. That leaves a nice angle to come 1 or 2 rails back for the 6. Uh-oh. Yeah, and that's something we went over years ago on the slick table. You really can't, I don't know if you noticed there, he kind of put a little something into that 3 ball. When that happens on the slick table, the cue ball is going to dive downward a little bit. So you got to be committed to kind of roll those shots.
Extension code.
Experienced Mosconi Cup player, made his debut in 2017, the first of 4 successive appearances. I know he was full of excitement about playing in Coventry in late 2020. But apart from the opening team match, he only won 1 out of 4. Heavy defeat for the Americans.
Foul shot.
Ball in hand here now for Fortuński, and
Ball in hand.
you know, nothing wipes mistakes away
Start the clock,
easier
please.
than ball in hand, Michael. Talk about it all the time, whether you're struggling a little bit, you know, you made a couple little mental errors. Normally the players would like a little slower condition in that, you know, kind of situation, just because you can let the stroke out a little bit more. You're not trying to be so delicate.
Extension code.
Sure, and Billy Thorpe was saying he travelled here with very low expectations and spoke very self-deprecatingly about his first performance, and he may do the same about that shot. So a chance for Fortuński to continue his winning streak and go 2 clear, perhaps.
Yeah, and I don't think the 5 should have been that difficult, but I do think it was a touchy little shot getting on the 7 the way it laid. You can play a real first shot here, staying underneath the 8 ball. Looked like he played ball first. Scary situation for Billy right here, because you just kind of expect Fortuński to get the break down to where he's getting more shots on the 1.
So 3 racks in a row then from Mieszko Fortuński, and he gets a bit of breathing space for the first time in the match. He leads Billy Thorpe 3-1.
Going to catch a little small piece of the 8, it looks like. Still going to try and screw the cue ball all the way back. Thing you can take advantage of, this slick felt right here. Doesn't take a ton of power. Oh, that was hit sweet.
Such a determined player, has a lot of belief in his own ability. Always gives off an air of feeling that he belongs as one of the top players. He isn't in that very highest bracket yet. As I said, last 16 in the 2 real standout events last year. This and the US Open with the big fields. So he's closing in on being one of those leading stars. And I guess, Jeremy, you're the last person in the world who wants to hear this, but he's one of those players who underlines the fact that beyond the established Mosconi Cup players, Europe have so much talent waiting in the wings to follow on and maybe even challenge the guys who are doing so well for Europe these days.
Yeah, well, as the game evolves, players evolve, and I expect the team for Europe to change a little bit this year. You know, I say expect, I mean, it just wouldn't surprise me. Plus, it's just kind of how it is in sports. I mean, those great five that won last year, they're setting up the players in Europe for the future. You know, kind of guiding them in a sense. All right, can't take your eye off the prize here. First things first, pocket this 8, get on to the 9, and a 5-game lead possibly. And this would be 6 in a row as well. Isn't that right, Michael? I think
that's right.
Billy did win the first game.
Yeah, job done. Half a dozen on the bounce for Fortunski. He leads 6-1.
I don't think he really tries to separate big time. Yeah, that's the shot I saw. Now, Billy, this is that opportunity I was talking about. A little light with the object ball for Misko. He's giving up an offensive shot.
The winner of this match, incidentally, in the next round will face Wojciech Szewczyk or Kopin Yi. They have yet to start their match. Even with everything that's gone before, very hard to imagine Thorpe not closing to 7-2 here.
A choice here. Stay on the short side of the 8 or come across. Yeah, no problem. Well, that overran a bit. Not as difficult as what we saw. Was it some in our opening match miss a similar 6-ball? It was a little more difficult in this one.
Yeah, very early on in the match, and it seemed to knock him back for a few racks. So finally, after losing 7 in a row, Billy Thorpe gets rack 9 on the board, but still so much to do in this match. Fortunski leads 7 racks to 2.
I wouldn't be too upset about this if I was Billy from where he was. Pretty lean here. Cut this in, go back and forth with a 7. Pulled it off the rail.
And that may very well be that. Another shot that I think really sums up his evening, as does his reaction to it. And he's really got to go away and have a big rethink now before come the loser's side tomorrow, as now looks pretty inevitable. Seems a long time now since Billy Thorpe won the opening rack. Since then, it's been pretty much all Mieszko Fortunski. He's won 9 out of 10. And I don't think anyone really saw as comfortable a victory as that coming. Mieszko Fortunski, though, has defeated Billy Thorpe by 9 racks to 2. So he is through to the 64-player final stage.
He could, but it's awfully thin. Trying to put him behind the 5. Well, that was a great shot.
Look at that, JJ. Welded.
Wow.
Purple 5. Very smart player is Omar. I believe he plays all the different games you can play on a pool table very well, so that stands him in good stead. Eklund Catcher, he's won 9-5. He's going about his business nicely.
Yeah, and held up nice there because he was trailing in that match early against a very formidable player in Han. A little fortunate catching the 2-rail collision there on the 1, but I think he's gotten away with it. A little bit of a snooker here, so the short cue coming out for Omar here early in game number 1.
A snooker?
Snooker.
That's unusual for an American to say snooker. Is it not hook?
Yeah, there's all kinds. There's all kinds of little words you can use for it, but yeah, when I come overseas, I bring a few more words with me. They screwed the cue ball back.
Get down with the British lingo,
yeah,
JJ. Right. So this first racket's still in the balance, and that's the first ball pocketed. And so far, Omar's played 3 beautiful shots.
Is he 100% Filipino? Capito? Definitely some Filipino.
Well, we all know how strong the Filipinos play pool.
Yeah. Oh, caught a little bit of the point. With the clock going off right there, didn't really bother him at all. Routine 8-9 here. Try and get our first 2-game lead in the match at 3-1.
So Robert Catito is 3-1 up in this match.
3 times in this match.
Yeah, this shot he's attempting here is a lot easier on like a club table where the cloth's really old.
Right.
But out on this brand new TV table, it's a lot more difficult. But he's gonna like this shot. I fancy him for this. Oh, he's caught the rail too much.
Pretty heavy, yeah.
That's the worst case scenario when you're playing that shot. You hit it into the rail too soon. There you see, way too soon.
Yeah. Just barely past the side pocket. So Omar getting to throw that mistake away, that big mistake it looked like. He can disregard that. He's going to get the game 7 win and a 4-3 lead. Like a pretty tight position shot here coming over for the corner. You know, if you're feeling good top inside, just go 3 rails, you know, and fall in between the, what is that, the 5 and 7 kind of for the 4 up in the corner. Is that enough? Is that enough speed?
I think it looks real tidy, this.
Yeah, he's gonna love that.
What a beautiful shot.
Yeah, and really trusted it, right? I mean, didn't overhit it 1 ounce. A lot of players really fear falling behind that 7, so they'll overhit that ball a little bit.
Yeah, that's the sign of a player who's getting real comfortable out there in centre court.
He only has to win 1 match to get in that final 64.
Yeah, and Robbie's given us no indication why he's going to falter at this hurdle with these remaining 4 balls.
And he's been pretty comfortable going to the beeps, right? I mean, going to the tone of the 5 seconds, being 5 seconds left. Not something I like to do myself, but.
Tell you what I've noticed, the cue's very close to the cue ball.
Yeah.
That tip, real close.
I've always had a problem with that. Well, I don't consider it a problem, but I have fouled every now and again because of it.
These two balls for a nice win.
Against last year's runner-up.
This 9-ball to send Omar Al-Shaheen, last year's runner-up, into the one last side. Robbie Capito, fantastic win, fantastic performance. You're through to the last 64. So he's having none of it, and if the cue ball is tight on that 3, it's another good safety shot. I think he's got to have a go at trying to hit this ball though now, purely because it doesn't look like he can tie another ball up again, just like before. He can go 2 rails. That's what he's looking at. It's not an easy hit. He's going to be trusting to look a little bit. The 1 ball may pass the 2, but he's got to hit it so good. Ah, it's a good hit, this. It's a good hit. It's a very good hit, and he's made the 1. What a shot from Sanchez Ruiz.
Yeah, contender for the best shot we've seen all day. Certainly up there with the best outcomes.
He was 1-0 down, he was hooked in a nasty little position, he kicked the ball in, and well, since then it's all been Sanchez, hasn't it? Dang has just got to stay patient, there's nothing much he can do. Just got to sit there and hope you get your chance. This is a nice shot, doesn't want to be straight, and he doesn't want to be on the rail. Now, what angle has he got here, if any? Looks like he's got some angle. But he's going to have to play this quite hard to get the cue ball moving, back down table. Got to be careful you don't hit it on the short rail, because that's what will make you miss this type of shot. And we've all done that. Oh, this is pretty good, isn't it? This is pretty good indeed. He's feeling good out there, is Sanchez. He's feeling real good.
Yeah, hasn't taken him long, has it, to start oozing confidence. And a very clean rack that. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz now gets a bit of daylight between him and Dang. He leads 3-1. Whatever sort of draw they get, but 1 or 2 other names might emerge as guys for whom it's opened up a bit.
Well, he's lost the plot there.
Ball in hand.
Don't see that very often, do you, Michael? Where
I get a call extension. Yeah.
Well, I think the issue is that he intended to take his extension but didn't call it.
trying to get the cue ball behind the 8. And what a shot he's played here, by the way. Pace had to be perfect. He's feeling good. And why wouldn't he? He's leading 6-1. He's at the top of the current rankings. He's won a big tournament this year. He always seems to be the business end of the pool events.
Foul stroke.
And he's got ball in hand.
Illegal contact, ball in hand.
Yeah, the full collection, isn't it? Yeah, hasn't missed much in this match, so it would be surprising if this didn't prove to be the finish, and he'll have got through the first couple of rounds for the loss of only 3 racks in total. 9-0 against Bizarre Spahiu earlier. All goes back to the second rack, doesn't it, Carl? That 2-rail kick when he was in a spot of bother, maybe in danger of going 2-0 down. And just because something looks like a turning point doesn't mean it's going to be, but it certainly has been in this match.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling as you're mopping up these remaining few balls to book your place into the single elimination draw and to get yourself a little day off. That's a nice feeling as well. You can just relax, you'll put some practice hours in, eat a little bit of nice food, probably sweat some of the matches because, well, it's going to be Judgment Day. That's what we call it in the world of pool. Tomorrow will be Judgment Day. Players will go home.
So after that loss of the opening rack, he turned it around to lead 7-1. Dang did get back to 7-3 and had a chance to close the gap further, but left himself a tough shot into a blind pocket that he didn't need to do. And that was the end of any hope of a revival, really. Sanchez Ruiz mopped up from there. And he's eased through this rack. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, a genuine contender for this world title, is through after beating Dang Thanh Kien of Vietnam by 9 racks to 3.